there for practice. So we're going to start a little early. We're going to jump our order a little bit. We'll get around to introducing our students after we get an update from our head women's basketball coach, Latricia Trammell.
Well, thanks for letting me go early. Like Jim said, we have practice at 12:15, so I'm going to sprint that direction right after I give you a quick update. Well, let's not lie. I'm not going to sprint. I'm going to drive. I stopped sprinting a long time ago. One, I want to say thank you for your support. You know, it's amazing how you guys travel to our away games and then support us in the stands and at our home games. And the other day we had a great potluck dinner. Thank you for coming to that. We had great fellowship, great food. I hope you got to know our young ladies a little bit better off the court. To give you a quick update with our women's basketball team, we have played 5 games in 12 days, so that's been really good, especially in our preseason since we were begging for games. Fortunately for us, we have won all of those games. We are currently ranked number 3 in the country. We are 9-1 overall and 6-0 in conference play. So again, these girls have been working extremely hard and very competitive. They're catching on and playing up to our expectations, and hopefully that we're making you proud. We have 2 games coming up. Starting tomorrow, we travel to Shawnee, Oklahoma and take on Oklahoma Baptist University. They are currently number 6 in the country, and they are also undefeated in conference. So it's going to be a great battle. Rich just told me earlier that I guess a lot of teams across the country are excited about this game because we are the NAIA Game of the Week tomorrow. So that should be very exciting. Yeah, you can clap for that. You bet. And then we turn around and play a very competitive team at home on Saturday. I believe it's an early game at 3 o'clock p.m. against Mid-America Christian. They are actually receiving the top 25 votes. So our conference is very competitive. Even though we lost a few teams, the returning teams are better. And so we're having to go out and play every night to a high level. And so it's been really good. Off the court, last semester we had a little over a 3.0 team GPA that we are proud of, obviously striving for better, and we're just getting back in classes and trying to stay ahead of our competition if we can. But again, thank you for your support. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to contact us. I will tell you too that at home games we do a program called an honorary coach. And if anyone is interested in joining our team on home game days, we would love it. That person is announced by our announcer, a little bio on you. You get to go in to our pregame talk before game. You get to sit with us on the bench, go in at halftime, and even come with us after the game. So we would love to have you. We have ball girls, ball boys. We call them bench managers to give them that big title. But we would love for you to do that. So if you want to give it as a gift, or if you want to see what it's all about and experience that, let me know. We would love to have you. Are there any questions? I would love for you to. Actually, I've thought of that a couple of times. I actually have. I would love for you to. All right, well, like I'm going to tell our players here in just a second, one day to game day, fire up. So let's get ready and let's go have
All right, now we're going to go back and take a moment to let the student athletes who are in attendance introduce themselves. So if you're an OCU student athlete, please stand up. We have 4 here today, golfers and basketball players. So Caleb, we're going to let you start. Tell them your name, where you're from, what year in school you are, and what your major is.
All right, I'm Caleb Smith, like he said. I'm from Choctaw, Oklahoma. And this is my senior year, and I'm a finance major.
I'm from Oklahoma City. I'm a sophomore in the Manchester.
I'm Abby Thompson. I'm a marketing major, a sophomore marketing major from Edmond, Oklahoma. I'm Elliot Holden, senior, majoring in business administration, and I'm from Barstool.
All right, welcome. Thank you guys. Just a couple of of business. One, we have put on your table brochures for the Sports Spectacular. If you've been around, you know that this is an event that is kind of a tradition in our athletic department. It's the biggest fundraiser that we have for the year, but that event this year is on Wednesday, April the 2nd. We're honoring Joe Castiglione, the athletic director at the University of Oklahoma. We invite your participation in this, and so there are at least 2 ways that you can participate. One, you could purchase a ticket or a table to attend the event, and I know 3 or 4 of you already have tables, so we appreciate that very much. So you could purchase a ticket or a table, and then 2, you could help us find auction items. And literally anything of value can be auctioned. I might quickly say that weekend stays at hotels do well, jewelry, artwork, food. If you have a restaurant that you eat at often, take them a brochure and ask them to give us a $50 gift certificate. We have things on the high end, like a week in Hawaii, and we have things on the low end, which I can immediately think of what a low end, because I don't want to offend anybody, but the idea. So we would hope that you would consider this. Think about folks that you have connections with. Kevin Durant, for example, works out in our gym quite frequently. You might think that we tend to try to bump into him with 8x10 glossy photos and basketballs and jerseys. And so if you give it a little thought and put a little strategy into it, possibly you can help us, and we need your help more than ever. So we hope that you'll help us with that. Latricia mentioned the academics for her team. I'm happy to tell you that our athletic department had a cumulative GPA of 3.17 in the fall. We're really thrilled about that. That's 21 consecutive semesters above a 3.0, and that doesn't happen accidentally. It requires a lot of work, requires the commitment of our students, and the commitment of our coaches. So every chance I get to share that with somebody, I try to do it. Okay, so we've just had our students introduce themselves. 5 or 6 years ago, maybe, we probably had a student come here and introduce herself. She was a member of our women's wrestling team. 5 years later, she's helping to coach our women's wrestling team. This is going to be her debut to give us an update on women's wrestling. So please welcome our coach, Melissa Simmons.
Well, Coach Randall couldn't be here today. They're leaving in a few minutes for a dual men's team in Arkansas. So good luck to them. And they also compete at Missouri Valley College Open this weekend. But our women's team has been really successful this season. We haven't had as many duels as we have in the past due to that winter storm and conflicting schedules. But our dual record so far is 10-2. We've had 2 losses, both of them to Simon Fraser University up in Vancouver, BC. We just got back this past weekend from the national duels where we took 3rd place. It was a close duel. We lost to Simon Fraser in the semis, but we're looking to bounce back next week when our girls head to Missouri Baptist University for our national tournament. We will be taking 10 returning All-Americans. Right now, the new rankings are about to come out any day, and we're expecting to be ranked number 2 going into the national tournament. We haven't had a chance to compete against the number 1 ranked team, King College. We just haven't met. We didn't match up at our dual tournament, and we didn't match up at the national duel. So our girls are ready to wrestle them. They're excited. They really want to meet up with the number 1 girls in the country and hopefully take back that title. We will be awarded with the Scholar Team Athlete Award, Scholar Team Award from the WCWA, with our varsity girls GPA coming up to a 3.4 GPA. And we'll have 2 scholar athletes being awarded. Emily Webster, she's a junior, and her GPA is a 3.964, and I believe she's a chemistry major. And Rachel Young with a 3.87 GPA, and she is a biology major, I believe. And some exciting news for a couple individuals on the team. We have 2 of our athletes that will be competing internationally, representing the United States. Emily Webster will be traveling to Paris to wrestle in the Paris Grand Prix tournament. And Cody Fowl will be traveling to Sweden to compete in the Lady Klippen Open. That's coming up fairly quickly this semester. Also, Coach Randall has been chosen by USA Wrestling to coach the Senior Pan American World Championship team. So this summer he'll be traveling to Mexico City, and myself, I was chosen to coach the Senior Women's University World Championship team. So I'll be going to in July, I believe. And that's just a quick update for women's wrestling. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Melissa, I really think we need Emily Webster to come to a luncheon at some time. If you don't know Emily Webster, she's just about an inch taller than this podium. Melissa told you that she has a cumulative GPA in chemistry of 3.97, so somebody gave her an A-.
She was not happy about that.
I don't believe she's ever lost a collegiate match. Am I wrong?
She's
She
too tough
is
now.
tough as a boot. We went to our website, when it was announced that she was wrestling internationally, there was a picture of Emily. And I'm just telling you, I'm not kidding, she's about that tall.
98 pounds.
She wrestles our lightest weight, and there was a picture of Emily, and here was her pose. She is tough as a boot, a great student, so we need to get her out here because she's fabulous. Okay, we're going to move on to men's basketball. Latricia kind of mentioned to you, we had weather issues in December that caused us to have to reschedule games, and the result of that is we're playing a ton of games back to back to back. These guys got home about 3 in the morning on Monday, and of course we immediately expect that they're going to be in class the next day, but we're really kind of in a grind. So let's get an update on men's basketball. Welcome our head coach, Dionne Phelps.
All right. I usually never walk up here with a piece of paper telling you what we've done, but because we had so many games in such a short period of time, I have to kind of write it all down. But as Latricia and Jim had mentioned, we played so many games, and I think we played 5 or 6 games within 11 days. And as we look at our conference, it's an extremely competitive conference. We right now, in those games that we played, 5 of those teams are ranked in the top 25 in the country. So it was an interesting, you look at John Brown's, it was 22, St. Gregory's, that's 12. The game that we just played the other night, number 2 in the nation, Wayland Baptist, number 24 in the nation, and now Mid-America, we have OBU first, but we also have another national team that's ranked to play on Saturday. So at the end of this 2-week cycle, we would have played 5 teams ranked in the top 25, which I love it. I'm glad to have that type of competition each and every night. We are currently 3-3 in conference. The stretch that we had was the biggest stretch, was those 5 games. We came out of that thing 3-2, went down to Waxahachie, to the number 2 team in the country, and lost that one by 4 or 5. As you know, there haven't been any teams that could just come out and dominate us. We've had our chances to knock on the door and try to take those away. If you've seen the stats on Southwest Assemblies God that we played, that was a tough one for me. That was a really tough one. One of those situations where we were 23 of 55 from the field, and we did what we were supposed to do defensively. They were 22 of 70. We ended up giving them 42 extra possessions. So that's 42 more looks at the basket, and that's something you can't give any team. But if there was anything in that, I mean, we played well defensively. They shot a poor percentage from the field. They shot poor percentage from 3, and only to lose by 5 says that we're knocking on the door, but there's some things that we're doing that's beating ourselves. And those are some areas I think we got corrected yesterday, and hopefully we will move forward to continue to correct those things. But it's been a great run. I really love this team. I really enjoy the potential that they have. Now it's time for us to put those things together. It's still early in conference, and when you have 5 teams knocking at the door to try to be one of the top teams in the nation, 5 of them are 25, anything can happen from this point on. So I'm proud of our guys, the way that they're competing and they're playing, how they're coming together. This week we have OBU, who, if you look at their record, they're probably not what you're used to, because OBU is usually the top, either #1 or #2 team in the country. For some reason right now, their chemistry hasn't come together. But trust me, the team that they have on that floor is, they got a lot of returners, they got a couple of Division I transfers. They are still the OBU of the past, and at some point it's going to kick in. I'm just hoping it's on Thursday. But we're expected to play a really good, talented team. And Mid-America, like I say, on Saturday we have them, and they're 21 in the country, and can easily be in the top 15 or top 10 in the country. So we're excited about these opportunities. Our guys aren't going to back down on anything. So does anyone have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
How's Chris?
Chris's progress, according to Kat, is moving along a lot faster than what she expected. We had to wait a couple of days for his swelling to go down to find out if there was any break or any ligament tear, and she doesn't think so. So she thinks he's ahead of progress, and we miss Chris. We really missed him against Southwest Assemblies of God. Just his toughness. I mean, he brings a level of toughness, as you know, he can really shoot. He's a freshman. He's a big-sized freshman that really doesn't play like a freshman most of the time. In that particular game, we gave up 21 offensive rebounds, and I think Chris could at least help us in that area. So he's on his way back. So I'm not sure if he'll be back by Saturday. I'm hoping the following week that he'll be back. So, but he's doing well academically, which was one of our biggest goals this semester, was not to lose anyone, and we haven't. And so we're real excited about that fact, and hopefully we will have another good semester of academics. So everybody's on board, everybody's pretty much healthy. So we'll see how things go tomorrow. Any other questions? All right. Thank you.
All right, just a couple of other things to share with you. Like I said, we're going to be a little ahead of schedule. One, I want to remind you that this Saturday at 11:30, we have our annual Hall of Fame luncheon. The Hall of Fame is the highest honor that we have in athletics at OCU, so I encourage you, if you're able to join us. We are recognizing Kathy Hayes from our softball program, Ted Ledbetter from our baseball program, and Paul and Kim Sanders in the meritorious service category. So I hope you'll think about that. In fact, if you intend to come, we kind of need to know today. Melody Seeley will be handing out door prizes, catch her before you leave, so that we can know that you're coming. Just a couple of announcements on cheerleading, and we'll talk more about this probably next month. We have been very involved in trying to have cheer recognized as a varsity sport within the NAI. And there are lots of steps to get that done. Part of it is really just considering what competition looks like. Because of our efforts and because of the great work of our head coach, Brandy Cochran, we've been selected to host a couple of competitions. One will be in February 22nd is more of a qualifying event, and then the first ever national invitational in the NAIA will be hosted at our place on March 15th. So I would ask you to kind of keep those dates in mind. If you've not been to a cheer competition, there's a lot of energy. It's kind of scary to watch. It can be a little loud, but I encourage you to participate. You'll hear more about that as we go on. And then finally, Incredible is here. No. Finally, I want to introduce you. You know that we were searching over Christmas. All I wanted for Christmas was a volleyball coach. And we got our gift. We found a terrific young man who's energetic and will be leading our program. He's been in university orientation this morning, but stand up and let's welcome Kyle Steele, our new coach. Other items to announce before we do door prizes? Is there anything I'm forgetting? Randy leaves tomorrow for a cheer competition. You know, wrestling gets to go to Paris and Hungary. I don't know about Hungary, but Paris sounds pretty good. Seems like I can go.
New York.
You went to New York?
Yeah, but I had to pay for that. I couldn't, that wasn't a university expense. Connor, you got anything else to add?
Indoor season starts on Saturday, so looking forward to it.
I want to point out with Connor, not only you heard about our great national championship, but the highest of our team GPAs in the fall was a 3.7 GPA by the women's cross country team. So that's it.
Smart kids.
Denny, your first game is, you have a game hopefully January 31st?
No. February 8th.
We'll hear more about baseball next month. All right, let's do door prizes.